Imagine being locked out of a greener future simply because you have a disability. That's the stark reality facing many disabled drivers as the UK transitions to electric vehicles, EVs. The rapid rollout of public EV chargers, while seemingly a positive step, is inadvertently creating a new barrier for those with mobility challenges. Prominent figures like Paralympian Tanni Grey-Thompson are sounding the alarm, warning that inaccessible charging infrastructure could leave a significant portion of the population behind. The core issue? While the number of public chargers is increasing, roughly 2 new chargers every hour, the accessibility of these chargers is shockingly poor. Tanni Grey-Thompson, now a crossbench peer in the House of Lords, has personally experienced these challenges. She advocates tirelessly for accessible transport, even after an incident where she had to crawl off a train due to lack of assistance. She states she has personally struggled to switch to electric cars because of the accessibility issues that have been overlooked. This isn't just about convenience, it's about fundamental rights and equal access. Campaigners, including Grey-Thompson and the Electric Vehicle Association England, EVA England, are urging the government to implement mandatory accessibility standards. Without these standards, disabled drivers often can't rely on being able to use public chargers. Consider these common obstacles: raised curbs that prevent wheelchair access, gravel surfaces that are difficult to navigate, touchscreens positioned too high or at awkward angles for wheelchair users, and even the sheer weight and unwieldiness of charging cables. These seemingly small details can render a charger completely unusable. And this is the part most people miss. It's not just about physical access. The design of the charging interface, the clarity of instructions, and even the lighting around the charging station can all significantly impact a disabled driver's ability to use the equipment safely and independently. Fortunately, there's some positive movement. The House of Lords recently passed an amendment to the government's Planning and Infrastructure Bill, granting the power to enforce accessibility standards on public chargers. This is a crucial step, but it's only the beginning. Vicky Edmonds, CEO of EVA England, emphasizes the urgency of the situation. We're currently risking millions of drivers being locked out of the transition to electric vehicles. She highlights that nearly half of EV drivers struggle with the accessibility of public charging, despite the increasing number of charge points. Edmonds calls for the government to publish and mandate revised accessibility standards to incentivize the industry to prioritize accessible charging for all drivers. The alternative? A future where a significant portion of the population is effectively excluded from participating in the electric vehicle revolution. But here's where it gets controversial. While organizations like EVA England and the Motability Foundation are pushing for stricter regulations, some argue that mandating accessibility standards could increase the cost of installing and maintaining public chargers. This, they contend, could slow down the overall rollout of EV infrastructure and ultimately hinder the transition to electric vehicles. Is it possible to balance the need for accessibility with the need for rapid expansion of the charging network? This is a complex question with no easy answers. The statistics paint a concerning picture. The UK has an estimated 1.35 million disabled drivers, and research suggests that 390,000 of them are unlikely to have home-based EV charging. This means they are heavily reliant on public chargers. Yet, only a tiny fraction, a mere 2.3%, of existing chargers meet the criteria set by the British Standards Institution, BSI, for accessibility. Efforts to improve the BSI standard, PAS 1899, have stalled, leaving a significant gap in accessible charging infrastructure. Jamie Borwick, a Conservative peer who introduced the amendment in the House of Lords, warns of the long-term consequences of installing unsuitable chargers now. He points out that these installations will have a lasting impact, leaving disabled drivers with limited options when new petrol and diesel vehicles are phased out after 2035. Drawing on his experience in the automotive industry, Borwick emphasizes the importance of designing for disability from the outset. Nigel Fletcher, CEO of the Motability Foundation, echoes this sentiment, stating that charging standards should be mandatory. He stresses that all providers of public EV charging must take responsibility for ensuring their infrastructure is accessible. Vicky Reid, CEO of ChargeUK, acknowledges the importance of inclusivity and states that charge point operators are working to meet the needs of disabled drivers, but often face practical challenges. A Department for Transport spokesperson says that they are committed to ensuring disabled drivers can easily charge their electric cars, and that a review into accessibility standards has concluded and its findings will be published shortly. However, actions speak louder than words, and the disabled community is waiting for concrete steps to be taken. Ultimately, the transition to electric vehicles must be inclusive. Failing to address the accessibility needs of disabled drivers is not only discriminatory but also undermines the goal of creating a sustainable and equitable transportation system. We need standards, enforcement, and, perhaps most importantly, a shift in mindset. Are we truly committed to a green future for everyone, or will we leave a significant portion of our society behind? What steps should be taken to ensure a truly inclusive EV transition? Share your thoughts in the comments below.